Our first speaker this evening is a mother who lost her daughter to the opioid epidemic. And her response to that loss was one of compassion and creativity. The portraits painted by Anne Marie Zanfagna memorialize loved ones lost to overdose and serve as a tribute to the families who have experienced this terrible tragedy. Her organization, Angels of Addictions, seeks to eliminate the stigma surrounding addiction and help separate the person from the disease. It is my honor to introduce Anne Marie Zanfagna.
Hi, I'm Anne Marie, and I'd like to thank everyone for viewing tonight. My daughter Jackie passed when she was 25, and I didn't know her story. I didn't know how she felt. She was a happy, beautiful, creative young woman, and then all of a sudden she's dead. What does that do? So many emotions come up in me every time I think of just how quickly life can disappear on you. But I knew that I had to be present in this grief. And in this grief, you know, I stayed and I experienced it all, from the wake to the funeral to the burial. At the wake, I would bring Jackie's friends up to see the casket. And I would tell them, this could be you. And it certainly could have been, and some of them were. But as time has passed, the rawness in me has also. We put in the obituary, first line, died from opioids, heroin and fentanyl. And Jackie was a wonderful girl. But it was so raw to me that that had to be my first line, because I wanted other people to experience the same thing. And in grief, there was a whole year where I couldn't move. I couldn't get out of the bed. I didn't go to the store. Not much happened in my life. And then I decided that it was time to come back. And one of the ways I did that was in painting. So I painted Jacqueline's picture right here, and it took me 2 months. And in that 2 months, it was wonderful time spent with her. You know, I laughed, I cried, she was with me. I brought the painting to a support group, and many other people wanted it, and it kind of snowballed from there. I painted about 300 portraits to date, and I have many more waiting. But I want to know, where is the outrage? I have always been outraged by the lack of response from other people. I would have meetings in the town, only a dozen people would come. This town in 2014 was loaded with heroin, and people were dying left and right. And it just hurts me so much. And also, not knowing Jackie's pain. I didn't realize that she had a lot of pain she just couldn't release or didn't know how to talk about. And she was sad. Then she was ashamed of herself and what went on and what she did. But, you know, as I learned, as time went on, I was blind to her situation. And this is a disease of reoccurrence. I thought once it was gone, and we went back to our life. Well, it only lasted a year. And then Jacqueline died October 18th, 2014. And there was a lot of things I wish I could have fixed, but when someone has substance use disorder, you can't cure them, control them, and you certainly didn't cause it. And these are things that I didn't realize. I didn't realize that codependency was a big part in our lives, and the whole family was sick. I mean, it went from her sister to nephews and nieces, to my parents, her grandparents. You know, it just touched everyone's life. And I'm still working on grief. Grief is with me every day. But I've turned it into something a little more positive, and I paint for other people. And I bring their child back so that they are happy and colorful and a joy, because you need to remember the joy. You know, something terrible happens in your life or in their life, and this disease comes into play. But I just feel that we need to know more. We need to look closer. Why aren't we talking to our kids, to our friends and neighbors, co-workers? You know, this is a very easy thing to ignore, because I don't think people want to take a good hard look at themselves and say, what have I been doing? But I know that if you help other people, no matter what you can do, you're going to find a little more peace, understanding. I found a lot of it when I went to Mercy Street in Plastow. That's where Angels of Addiction, I would say, started, because I got to understand how other people felt. And I learned a lot, and I listened. You know, it's so easy to move. It's so hard to move forward and so easy to stand still in your grief. So easy. But you need to be present through it so you know what happens. I didn't want to take any sedatives to calm my nerves. I had to live through it all. And that was very important. People are not invisible to me anymore. You know, when you see people sitting on benches in parks or on the road, I see them. I know who they are now. Before, I never looked. And I think that that was a big part of when Jackie died. I saw them because they were once Jackie. And I would say that this is the culmination of a lot of work. I've been doing this since 2015. But when I get stories from people that have received their portraits, they are so thrilled. That makes their day. Even the day it arrives on, which I don't even think about, is special to them. Might have been a birthday, something like that. Grief today looks to me like it's never ending, and moving forward has always been important, because I need to find a purpose in my life. With Angels of Addictions, I have. And I've found new community, which has been wonderful. Mercy Street in Plastow has really made me grow, made me get out of my own head and find other people that could use some help. And there's a lot of ways that you can help people. Just listen is one of the biggest ways that I've found. And I still want to know, where is the outrage? I have been outraged for years, and why does it disappear into the background? Our pain is not going to ever leave us. It's always going to be there. And we just have to work hard, talk with one another, talk in schools. We have presentations we do all over the place so that maybe I can connect with someone, because that's what our purpose is. And connection is what keeps sobriety. It gives you a reason to keep moving forward. And it's hard to move forward, but you have to, because you have to make a difference. And sometimes I think the gateway to addiction is mental illness and abuse. But on that note, I want to thank everybody for listening, for coming and seeing the portraits. And it reminds me of Jackie. And this is my love story to Jackie. It's beautiful. Thank you very much.